Yorkers think of Florida, we think of Miami.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
There's a big difference, you know what I'm saying? Like Miami, it gotta get side.
Okay.
You could cross over and go look at them.
Kodak Black's situation has taken a shocking turn, and this time, he's not trying to hide it. The same rapper who used to boast about beating the odds is now publicly pleading for help. His recent live stream rants have been troubling, his interviews have been scattered and incoherent, and his on-camera behavior is raising serious concerns. What we're witnessing goes beyond typical celebrity gossip. Kodak's addiction is playing out in real time, and it's clear he's struggling. The question isn't just whether he needs help, it's whether he'll get it before hitting rock bottom. And here's the real bombshell. Kodak himself has admitted it. Fans have been speculating for ages, worried that he was spiraling, but now he's confirming their fears. His addiction isn't just a rumor, it's a painful reality that he's facing head-on. As his grip on his career, health, and even his once vibrant personality starts to slip, the transformation is undeniable. That playful, energetic spirit that fueled his early success is fading before our eyes. We can't pretend this is unexpected. Kodak has always been raw, laying his pain bare in his music. It's what made his tracks hit so hard. His career has been a roller coaster of dizzying highs, chart-topping hits, sold-out tours, and devastating lows from legal troubles to prison stints. Now, with his substance issues out in the open, it's clear he's fighting another battle in a long series of struggles. And then came his performance at Rolling Loud. It wasn't just bad, it was heartbreaking. Fans watched in disbelief as Kodak appeared completely disconnected, lost, disoriented, and far removed from the sharp, dynamic artist they once knew. His downward spiral was painfully visible, leaving everyone questioning how much longer he can keep going without real intervention. Kodak emerged on stage looking completely out of sorts, stumbling clumsily, colliding with his own dancers, as if he didn't even realize where he was. The audience was left in shock, murmuring with confusion, and predictably, the internet pounced on it. Clips of the performance spread like wildfire, becoming instant viral sensations. But here's the thing. We've seen Kodak veer off track before, yet this time it felt drastically different. He didn't just appear intoxicated, he seemed utterly disconnected, adrift in a fog of his own struggles. That's when the real questions started flooding in. Where is his inner circle? His longtime friends? The people who are supposed to have his back? Why does it look like nobody is stepping up before this downward spiral hits a point of no return? It's as if the safety net he once had is unraveling, and no one's there to catch him before he falls further. And just when the chaos couldn't seem to intensify, another storm hit. Kodak's ongoing legal troubles, far from fading into the background, are only growing worse. These aren't minor hiccups. We're talking major, life-altering legal issues. From the moment he rose to fame, Kodak has been in and out of courtrooms with a record that reads more like a revolving door than a fresh start. Think back to one of his earliest high-profile cases. As reported by the Associated Press, Kodak faced a heavy R charge that sent shockwaves through the industry. In the end, he took a plea deal, admitting guilt to a first-degree count and avoided prison in exchange for probation. But while the sentence might have spared him jail time, the damage was done. The industry turned its back, endorsements evaporated, and many of his peers distanced themselves from him entirely. That rejection, that sense of being shunned by the very world he once sought to dominate, took a toll on his mental state. It's not just about the legal consequences, it's about the weight of watching opportunities and support slip away. And the hits just kept coming. His life, once filled with promise, began to unravel piece by piece, leaving him grappling not only with external turmoil, but also with the internal scars of feeling abandoned and unsupported. Every time Kodak's name hit the headlines, it seemed like chaos followed close behind. Back in 2018, his situation spiraled out of control when he racked up 7 serious charges. That's right, 7. We're talking grand theft of a firearm, possession of a weapon despite his record, and violating probation. It was a legal meltdown of epic proportions. For a while, it looked like Kodak was about to be shut away for good. The charges stacked up so high it seemed inevitable, but then just 7 months later, he was suddenly out again. TMZ was all over the story. Everyone knew he was facing up to 12 years, but somehow the charges started disappearing like smoke, and his sentence was cut down drastically. Fans and critics alike were stunned. This looked like the moment, a turning point. Maybe he'd finally get his act together and put all his focus into his music. But Kodak? Nope. He wasn't ready to slow down. Instead, he barreled straight back into more trouble. By 2019, he was facing federal weapons charges, this time on a whole new level of serious. He pleaded guilty and got hit with a 46-month prison sentence. The general consensus? This was the one. The wake-up call. The humbling moment he couldn't ignore. Then came the twist no one could have predicted. On January 20th, in a move that shocked the entire internet, Donald Trump issued Kodak a presidential pardon. No buildup, no leaks, just out of the blue. One day he was looking at years behind bars. The next, he was a free man. The internet went wild. It felt like the entire world stopped to process what had just happened. When Kodak stepped back into the public eye, he looked different. Sharper, healthier, like he was finally shaking off the fog of his troubled past. For the first time, people started whispering that maybe, just maybe, Kodak was ready to leave the chaos behind. Kodak's journey was starting to look like a classic redemption arc, a fresh start, a clean slate, new energy. It seemed like he might finally be pulling it together. But in 2022, his name hit the headlines again, and not for dropping any hot new tracks. Instead, it all started with what seemed like a routine traffic stop. Cops pulled him over, allegedly for something as minor as a window tint violation. No big deal, right? Except it didn't end there. A search of the car turned up something the authorities didn't like. Suddenly, things escalated. Now here's the kicker. This all went down shortly after Kodak had been shot in the leg at a party. The guy was literally recovering from a gunshot wound. He explained that the medication found in the car was prescribed, legit script, real doctor, real pain management. He made it clear, I'm hurting. I've got a legit prescription. This isn't anything shady. But let's face it, when your past is full of drama, it's tough to shake that label. People aren't quick to give you the benefit of the doubt, and the system? It questions everything, no matter how clean or legitimate. Kodak tried to clear the air, to show that he was just a guy trying to manage his recovery. But the shadow of his history loomed large. The battle he was fighting wasn't just external, it was deeply personal. Kodak's message has been consistent. He wants to do better, live smarter, make positive changes. He's spoken about moving forward, about wanting to break free from the cycles that have held him back. But every small step forward feels like it's met with a giant pullback. At one point, Kodak even expressed his desire to open a CBD shop, a sign that he was looking toward a legitimate, stable future. Yet, with every effort to clean up his image and his life, the weight of his past keeps making the climb harder. Yes, you heard that right. Kodak was talking about using his own struggles to help others manage pain and stress naturally. It was a moment that felt like genuine growth, like he had finally found a sense of purpose. For a second, it seemed real, like he was ready to flip the narrative and channel his experiences into something positive. But with Kodak, things rarely go as planned. His life has been a series of sharp turns and sudden drops, so just when it looked like he might be leveling out, bam, everything shifted again. Out of nowhere, news broke that he'd been rushed to the hospital. Rumors exploded online. Allegedly, it might have been an overdose. That's what a lot of outlets were hinting at, and the internet erupted with concern. People were panicked, frantically wondering if Kodak was okay, if he had even made it through the ordeal. Then, not even a week later, he was back on Instagram Live. Fans were relieved to see him, but right in the middle of chatting, he just passed out, mid-sentence. It wasn't the kind of, oh, he's just tired moment you could shrug off. This wasn't normal. For anyone who had been paying attention to Kodak's recent behavior, it was obvious that something much deeper was going on. The writing was on the wall, and ignoring it wasn't an option anymore. And if that wasn't enough, there was the Drink Champs interview. That one sent alarm bells ringing. Kodak appeared totally out of it, slurring his words, zoning out, barely able to keep up with the conversation. It was like his mind wasn't even in the room. Fans were sounding the alarm, openly questioning what was going on with him. The concern was real, and people were scared for him. But here's the kicker. As everyone was still reeling from that chaotic interview, another wave of drama came crashing down. It was like the turmoil never stopped. When Kodak made an appearance on Kai Cenat's stream, it should have been a chance to reconnect with fans, to show he still had the charisma and energy that made him a star in the first place. Instead, it turned out to be a massive letdown. Kai's streams are typically buzzing with humor and good vibes, but Kodak's energy was completely off. He came across slow, dazed, and disengaged. At one point, he even forgot Kai's name, leaving viewers scratching their heads. Then he tried to freestyle, and it wasn't great. The bars felt flat, the flow was messy, and the chat didn't hold back. They tore into him. The whole thing was rough to watch, more depressing than anything else. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get more chaotic, Kodak started talking about change. He went online declaring he was ready to turn his life around. He sounded serious, like he finally wanted to put the drama behind him. He said he'd never imagined he'd make it this far, and that now he was learning to control himself, to fight off his demons. It was a real redemption arc moment. Fans who had been rooting for him all along started to believe this might be the turning point. For a brief moment, it felt like he was on the path to a genuine comeback. And then, almost as quickly as it started, the story flipped. Just weeks later, Kodak resurfaced, looking like he was under the influence again. There was no explanation, no "my bad," no attempt to reassure his fans. Instead, he began lashing out, snapping at the very people who had been cheering him on, the ones who believed he was on the mend. The abrupt switch left everyone stunned. Fans who had been hyped about his supposed transformation were now feeling the sting of his anger, confused and disheartened by his erratic behavior. And then came the wildest twist of all. Out of nowhere, something completely unexpected happened. A video popped up on social media, and it sent everyone into a frenzy. There was Kodak Black, sitting cross-legged right in the middle of a street in Atlanta, casually munching on chicken wings. Not on a bench, not on a porch, not at a restaurant, literally on the pavement as cars rolled by, wings in hand, just chilling, like it was the most normal thing in the world. The vibe? Completely off. Fans immediately went into panic mode. The first question on everyone's mind, is he okay? Was this another public episode? Another breakdown? It felt too strange, even for someone like Kodak, who's no stranger to eccentric behavior. And of course, the internet did what it does best, erupting with wild theories. Some people blamed drugs, others thought it was a cry for help. A handful just expressed outright worry, and then came the twist. Kodak's lawyer stepped in to set the record straight. According to him, this wasn't a breakdown at all. It was B-roll for a music video. It wasn't chaos, he claimed. It was art. Okay, sure, if you say so. But before anyone could fully process that explanation, Kanye West entered the chat. Yes, Kanye. Out of nowhere, he jumped online to share his own concerns about Kodak. He announced that he was planning to fly down to Atlanta personally to check on him. The unexpected intervention from Kanye had everyone buzzing. In fact, Kanye even urged locals to keep an eye on Kodak until he could get there. He mentioned how the whole situation felt like some sort of sign, especially since Kodak was seen rocking a Donda chain in that very moment. Now, the rumor mill is in overdrive. People are wondering if this could lead to a collab between Kodak and Kanye. Could this be another wild chapter in both their careers? Some fans are brushing off the whole incident as just Kodak being Kodak, or maybe even a publicity stunt. But others? They're still raising serious concerns. With everything Kodak's been through, his battles with addiction, his legal troubles, this latest incident has left many questioning his mental health. Kodak Black has been saying for a while now that he wants to stay clean, that he's trying to make positive changes. But when clips like this keep surfacing, it's hard not to wonder what's really happening behind the scenes. There's no question, seeing Kodak sitting cross-legged in the middle of a busy street, munching on wings, got people talking. Whether it's a misunderstood artistic choice or a silent cry for help, it's just one more wild moment in his unpredictable story. The incident has sparked a firestorm of comments, discussions, and debates online. Fans are buzzing, the internet's ablaze, and even Kanye West is keeping a watchful eye. That in itself says a lot. People have taken to social media to voice their opinions, their worries, and their judgments. Some genuinely feel for Kodak, feeling that he's someone in need of real, unwavering support. Some people just need genuine care, one person wrote. This looks like someone who's lost trust in everyone, even himself. Others, however, are far less forgiving. He did this to himself, one user fired off. He's had so many chances and he never changes. It's a polarizing conversation, to say the least. One thing's undeniable. There's something deeper going on here. A pattern, a struggle, a narrative that's more complicated than it appears on the surface. But what do you think? Is Kodak genuinely crying out for help, or is this just another chapter in a life that never got a fair shot? People are weighing in left and right, trying to make sense of it all. The debate is ongoing, and the internet isn't holding back. Whatever the case, Kodak's story isn't just a headline, it's a reflection of the challenges and complexities that come with fame, addiction, and the fight to find a path forward.